What's up, YouTube? Drill Sergeant here. I hope the angle is okay. It's inside the car. It's a little tight. And there are three stories that we have to talk about that should have been talked about yesterday, but I couldn't because I spent my time talking about the website that's teaching guys how to essay their wives by putting them to sleep. So it's not that there wasn't an important thing to talk about. It's just that there's so many of them, you're never going to get to all of them. Let me put this angle up here. It looks a little better. Now, here's the thing. Three stories. One of them is, I'll play the tape.
Same time, you hear Donald Trump this morning say he would have solved Vietnam in 45 minutes. There's one solution that Donald Trump is talking about. It's not his fake bone-spurred ass going to war. No, it is nuclear warfare. So Tucker is not exaggerating. He is not being crazy. He's not trying to get clicks. And oftentimes, I do think Tucker is trying to get clicks. What he is doing is connecting clear and obvious dots. That Donald Trump, the man who said he would wipe out an entire civilization, is trying to escalate, which is what made the removal of this nuclear official so scary, especially in the context of this reporting. Patrick Webb writes on Twitter, breaking: during an emergency White House meeting, Donald Trump reportedly attempted to access the nuclear codes, but was blocked by General Dan Kane, according to former CIA analyst Larry Johnson. Newsweek also wrote about this alleged story. Larry Johnson, a retired CIA analyst, claimed Trump tried to access nuclear codes, but was stopped by the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Seems like that should have been on the news. It seems like that should have been on the news. One story is the president tried to get the nuclear codes. For what? When? Why? How? And the story that he tried to get it is bad. The story that the guy who's the chief of the Joint Chiefs of Staff or whatever it is decided, this amazing general, to block him. That's the story of the day. That's the story of the day. That luckily we knew we had a madman in office. We just weren't sure how many unbelievably, upsettingly mad, deranged generals we had left. Or if we had anybody in there who was going to stop him. That's one story. The second story is that they got rid of someone who's high up in the nuclear armaments chain because he was recorded telling secrets to someone else about Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump's war crimes and everything going on. I find that one less important to give a bunch of details on because I think it's old news that people in this administration can't keep secrets. And I'm not sure how bad or good that is, because if he's telling people secrets about the war crimes going on, then he might as well be a whistleblower. Maybe it's a good thing. But I also know that you can't just do that willy-nilly. So they're getting him out in light of Trump wanting the codes for whatever reason, after threatening to destroy civilizations. And then you kick out a guy high up on the nuclear chain. That seems a little more important. The third story is the person who sent this to me in my team watched the news, mainstream media, all day yesterday, and nobody talked about it. That is the most important news of the day, YouTube. That's the most important news of the day. It's not just that we have a madman in office, and it's not just that this madman in office luckily was blocked from getting the codes for God knows what reason, because I thought we were almost done with this war. Thought it was almost finished. Thought we were negotiating the next day. What do you need the codes for? You use the codes to use them. Or are you trying to memorize them? They change. What do you need the codes for? Just to say you have them? So you can take a picture of it? What would you need them for? You don't draw your weapon unless you plan on using it. This is the first thing you learn in any sort of armed defense. There's no need for you to know those codes. That's why you don't know them. That's why they're in a freaking locked pad, lead-proof football place carrier. The nuclear football. And then you're firing people higher up. This goes to a lot of stuff. But the biggest story is, the biggest story is when you watch the news, the mainstream media, the media that has the access, quote unquote, the media that has access inside of the White House, in the White House press room, that's at the Capitol, that has their bases in Washington, D.C., and is written into the Constitution as a fourth estate, as a necessity for democracy. That story is not being told. It's because you chose not to tell it. Newsweek is a mainstream place. So when you hear that they're talking about it, yep, it's in print. We appreciate that, Newsweek. Tell me, how many people read Newsweek? And then how many people watch all the rest of them? Fox, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, if they still exist out here. That's the story to me. That's the story to me. You see, in return for access, what you're supposed to get is information. And when you get information, or because you have access, the democracy, the people, are supposed to be informed. I'm wondering, whatever story you decided to tell, if that wasn't one of them, if that was in exchange for access, you don't tell that story so that you can get more access, because that's just too much, too far, then what's the point of the access? Just go on YouTube then. CNN? MSNBC, just become another YouTube channel and read Newsweek and report it to the people. That would be better than getting the access. On another note, since we cannot rely on that media, the goal is to make it my job, and those of you with a platform, to make it your job to tell these kinds of stories. And it's not because you want people to say, oh my God, there's nothing we can do, there's going to be a nuclear war. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is somebody actually maybe stopped that from happening, which is a good thing. And on another note, we need to impeach him. You see, and you don't know the stakes. If you don't know the stakes, you're less willing to do what it takes to achieve that goal. There's a Rule 9. The Rule 9 in the Congress is that any one of the people in Congress can bring it up, and it forces a vote on impeachment within 2 days. Rule 9. You see, when you have that rule, but you didn't know that the president was trying to get the nuclear codes, and the Joint Chiefs of Staff had to block him, it doesn't seem as important to you, maybe, for some reason. Maybe that's the thing. So that's why we report on it. To impeach him. No one is safe until he's impeached. Impeach him. June 28th through July 4th. If you haven't impeached him already, there's 7 days in D.C. Go to 7daysindc.com and you can see what we're doing there. The website is up. We want millions. We want millions down there. Celebrating 250th birthday of the longest lasting democracy on earth. Or at least that's alive still. We got to take it back. And we're doing direct action. in the offices, in the faces of people who can make this decision, and bring it up to them, because maybe in all of their learning, in all of their lawyering, in all of their education, they forgot about Rule 9. We can remind them. June 28th to July 4th. I'll see you there.